Hello and welcome back to Coding with Kenny G. Now this is episode 11, and last episode made a little bug, or rather a mistake or something. Anyway, got a fix out, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do there. So let's start. This is a script that we were working on, the formation spawner, and the issue was that we got a null ref. So I figured out what caused this, and it's about order of execution. So this is kind of common. Once you press play, right, you tend to have a few objects that want to initialize itself at the same time. Different objects call their own start functions, and in which order these guys get called is a little bit out there sometimes. So the point is that script A needs to run before script B. That is why we, in the the board creator script, we had this function called event called onBoardCreated, and then we can ensure that the board is indeed created before we try to access the board from formation spawner. So that's the point. This call at this point in time, since we're calling it for start, board.instance.getBoard results in a null ref because the board is not received or created yet. So we're just gonna switch this around to be dependent on the board being created before we try to spawn actors onto it. So we just need to change a few things. Instead of calling spawn formation from start, we are now going to listen to the onBoardCreated event from board creator, and then we're gonna call spawn formation from there. So I'm just gonna comment this out, and then I'm gonna create our typical event listener setup: void on enable and void on disable. And then in our event handlers region, I'm gonna create an event handler. So private void on board created, and this is taking in a tile to the array, which is the board. Okay, so we have the listeners ready there. So let's see, board creator dot onBoard created plus equals onBoard created, and then we desubscribe as always with the minus equals, and they are on disable. Cool. And the only thing that this function is gonna do is it's gonna call this function, the spawn formation. Spawn formation, and then we're gonna send in our field here, formation to spawn, for now. There we go. And I'm gonna change one thing inside this function. I'm just gonna send in the board that I receive from onBoardCreated into this function. So we're gonna accept a parameter called tile to the array, and we're gonna call that board. And then I'm gonna comment out this call to board.instance.getBoard. So it's pretty much gonna work exactly the same, but I need to send in this parameter, the board. There we go. And now this should work. So saving the script and going back out. Press play. And there we go. We have a full board with all the pieces on it, and they should be registered as occupying their tile in the board, which is exactly what we want. Cool. So finally, we're starting to get into creating some game mechanics. let's check out our list. Down here, yeah, we fixed the null ref issue. Now we have to be able to select an actor. In R, I'm gonna call this in parentheses. What we're actually doing is selecting a tile that is occupied by an actor. So it's pretty much the same thing. That's how we select an actor or our game piece to move. But just in short, I just want to tell you it's better to fire the ray onto the tile and not onto an actor. The reason is that, for example, I have a little bit of an awkward camera position and I want to select the actor behind this guy where my mouse is. If I were to fire the raycast towards the actor and not the tile, this would be really hard. I would have to aim kinda weird. But now I'm just firing rays against the tiles, and since they only fire against the tiles, they ignore the collider on these actor objects. Okay, so that is how we're going to do it. And we need to be able to select a tile by pressing the left mouse button, and then we're going to display where this selected actor can move to. We're just gonna start somewhere. So let's think. Coffee. I think that our main camera. Whenever a tile is selected, another listener to the function inside camera controller, I always say function, but I mean event. When a tile is selected, we're going to implement a listener that handles the selection of actors. So we see this script is always starting to get a little bit like a lot of stuff going on. So it's nice to try to separate concerns for each script. So another script is going to handle the actual actor selection and the logic behind that. For now, we're just going to implement that when you press play, I can just select whatever actor I want. We're going to implement the turn-based game and which faction is playing now later. But for now, we're just going to need to try to select an actor and get it to move somewhere. Okay, maybe we should make a new script for that. So let's think. Okay, we just start somewhere. I might change this later, but let's make actor selector script. Actor selector. Yeah. It might be a little bit wonky, so we might change it, but for now, let's just start. And I'm gonna also place this onto the main camera. Actor selector. Open this script up, and this guy is first of all he needs to listen to the event on tile selected in the camera controller. So void on enable and void on disable. Create an event handler, private void on tile selected, tile t. Okay, listen to it. So that is camera controller dot on tile selected dot plus equals on tile selected. desubscribe. There we go. And for now, we're not going to check whose turn it is, or if it's a human player's turn or whatever. We're just going to allow selecting that tile. And if there's an actor on that tile, then we are further going to display a move path. So I need a reference to a tile that we have selected. So I'm gonna write a private tile selected tile. We're gonna store that in our event handler. Selected tile equals t. And then let's write a comment here. If the tile is occupied by an actor, display that actor's legal move path, which is a new concept and a game mechanic. So let's just check if the tile is occupied. If t dot get is tile occupied, okay, then display move path. And move path is something that we have to create. So we're gonna have to create a new script, and we're gonna call this one legal move path. So this guy is going to be a little bit different. This guy is not going to be a mono behavior. So we're going to delete the inheritance part here, and then we're going to say public static class legal move path, because we're going to call a function that is going to return the tiles that we are allowed to move on. So this is going to be a public function, and it's going to be a static function. So public static list of tile as return, which we will return from the function, and then the method name is get legal move path. And we're gonna need a few parameters here. First of all, we're gonna need the actor, the moving actor, and then we're gonna need the tile from tile, and we might need a reference to the board. Yeah, we need a reference to the board. So that is going to be a tile to the array, and this is going to be called board. Okay. First of all, we have a local variable, local list of tiles we're adding to as we go over each direction the actor can move to. So it's going to be a little bit involved. This. Let's check our time. 40 minutes, not too bad. We can start. So list of tile move path equals new list. So we're ready to add to that list as we go. And then we can talk a little bit about game mechanics. So I'm just gonna go out into Unity. I just need to return null here so far, just to not have issues when we press play. In Hnefatafl, when you select an actor, all pieces, so attackers, defenders, and the king, all of them can move like rooks in chess. So that means this guy can move all the way up and all the way to the right, unless they're blocked by something. So there are some special rules. We're going to implement them one by one. This guy can move all the way up to here because he's blocked by this actor, and he can move all the way to in front of the corners. Normal pieces like attackers and defenders cannot move onto special tiles. Only the king may move onto special tiles. So there is some custom logic to be made there, but we take these one by one. So we just have to start here. So we know that some actor is moving from a tile, right? And then we have to check each direction around him and add each unoccupied tile to the list, and also if it is not a special tile. So we're gonna do it like check each direction. We start at north, then go clockwise from there. So we are gonna have to create a for loop here. For int y equals, and we're gonna start at position from tile dot y plus 1. Because we are just moving upwards from the starting position. So int y equals from tile dot y dot get board array index. You know what? I'm gonna change the name of this function in tile. I'm gonna select the get board array index. I'm gonna shorten it. I'm gonna hold Control and press R twice, and then I'm gonna rename this guy to get tile index. It's just a little bit easier for me to remember. And back to Lego Movepath. Get tile index dot y plus 1. And then y plus plus. We need to have a little check before we even do the for loop here. So if the position where, if the guy is standing at the edge of the board at the top, we could have a situation where this plus 1 here gets us out of bounds. So we're gonna have to check that before we even enter a for loop. So if from tile dot get tile index dot y plus 1 is greater than board at position from tile dot get tile index dot x, comma, from tile no. Wait a minute. Board dot get length at dimension 1. That is the y-axis. Or rather, we can say if not. That is, if the tile we're checking is yeah, if from tile the dot get tile index dot y plus 1 is less than board dot get length in dimension 1, the y-axis, then we do this code. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky to keep my brain going while I speak and try to make sense out of all this as well, so just bear with me. No. Oh yeah. We need to check y is lower than board dot get length 1, and then y plus plus. Cool. And then if the tile is not occupied, so we need to check, is the tile occupied? If tile dot if board at position from tile dot get tile index dot x, comma, y dot get is tile occupied. If it is occupied, then we should break, or we can do, yeah, we should break, because we want to get out of this entire for loop by using a break statement, because we don't want to iterate further if we meet a hindrance. So if the tile is not occupied, then add to list. So if it's not occupied, then we say Movepath dot add board at position from tile dot get tile index x, comma, y. We're gonna add that tile to the list, and for now we're just gonna test to see if this function works at all. I'm gonna change the color of the tile. So if we say I'm gonna make something inside the tile script. Previously we talked directly to the renderer. My renderer.material.color equals something. Well, I'm gonna create a little helper function in public functions here. I'm gonna say public void set tile color, and then we're gonna accept a color C, and then from in here we're gonna set my renderer dot material dot color equals C. And then also another helper function is to say public void reset tile color to default. And then this function is gonna reset the color to the starting color. So my renderer material dot color equals start color, which is a private field we have up here. Okay, cool. So that is going to help us be a little bit more clean when we're talking to the tile. Legal Movepath. This guy for now change color of the tile we add to the list. So board at position from tile dot get tile index dot x comma y dot set tile color to color dot yellow. Okay, let's see if this works. And then actor selector, we're gonna say, for now we're just gonna call legal movepath dot get legal movepath. This is a static function, so we're gonna call the class itself, and the moving actor is the guy that is on the occupied tile. So t dot get occupying actor. The from tile is selected tile, and the board is at this point board capital letters dot instance dot get board. Okay, and then we're gonna see if this function works. So we're gonna try to select this actor. Yes, we managed to paint these tiles above him, and it stopped at this actor, or rather in front of him, because this tile is occupied. So we got a good start here. As you can see, it's a little bit involved. But now we're just gonna do all the directions for an actor, and also implement the special tiles and which actor is moving. These normal actors, the attacker and defenders, have their rules, but the king has his own exclusive rules. We're gonna implement them one by one. So thank you so far, and I'll see you in the next episode where we continue to build on this game mechanic.